it's Cheryl with another Nerding Naturalist video. If you're wondering what this is, basically these are short explainer videos that answer the goofy questions we ask while we're playing Dungeons & Dragons live on Twitch every other Monday on the Dungeon Dwellers channel. Our warlock Horatio has a patron who's a snake demigoddess, and so he routinely has conversations with snakes and other reptiles in our game. But I started to wonder, how do snakes really communicate? I think we're all probably familiar with the idea that snakes hiss, but that's usually only a way for them to sort of warn off predators or other things that they feel threatened by. So most snakes do not engage in any sort of verbal communication. Sorry, Horatio. The one exception is that some scientists have noticed that king cobras hiss at a much lower pitch than a lot of other snakes, and so people have begun calling this cobra growling. And these cobras tend to have much more structured social interactions, so some scientists think that the growling is actually another way for the cobras to communicate. One other sort of sound-based communication that some snakes do is a rattlesnake's rattle. Of course, that's not a vocalization, but it is still sound-based. There are specialized scales that are very loose on the end of a rattlesnake's tail, and when the snake shakes its tail, the rattles rattle. As you may have guessed, because this is true for a lot of other simpler animals in nature, most snake communication is actually chemical based. So as snakes move through their environment, they're constantly laying down pheromone trails, and when another snake comes along and sniffs or tastes or senses the pheromone trail left by another snake, it's able to determine information about that snake, like its sex, its age, and its reproductive condition. There's also quite a bit of physical communication between snakes, so male snakes will often sort of bump female snakes with their noses in order to initiate mating, and when some snakes mate, they do this sort of twining mating dance, or you may have seen a garter snake mating ball before, and some males occasionally engage in physical combat over the right to reproduce with a female. There's also some other snake body language communications that don't necessarily require physical contact, like the posturing of a snake, especially one with a hood like a cobra, in order to warn off a predator or other threat. And some snakes also wear aposematism, which is basically what we would know as warning colors. So think about the venomous coral snake and the colorations that it has. Those bright colors let us know that it's dangerous and we should stay away from it. There are also some snakes that engage in communication coloration that's mimicry, though. King snakes and milk snakes mimic the warning colors on coral snakes. While Dungeons & Dragons allows us to engage in a wonderful world of fantasy where it is possible for us to speak with snakes, if we were doing this more realistically, maybe Horatio should try wearing some cologne or dancing in order to communicate with the snakes we find. I hope you're enjoying these Nerding Naturalist videos. I think they're a ton of fun to put together, and these are all based off goofy in-game questions that are asked about the natural environment while we're playing Dungeons & Dragons on the Dungeon Dwellers channel on Twitch every other Monday, so you should definitely go check that out. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the Roving Naturalist. If you haven't been here before, maybe hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon, because in addition to these Nerding Naturalist videos every Monday morning, I also post regular environmental education videos every Thursday afternoon. You can also find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and I'll see you next time.